Do you have a hard time playing your third or fourth finger, and when you do, it always ends up sounding messy? Hey, I'm Samantha. Welcome back to the Harp Studio, and today I'm going to show you the same tricks that I've taught my students over the last 10 years that solve this problem every time. The first thing we need to do is check your hand position, because a lot of the time, if you're having trouble playing your fourth finger or your third finger, the issue is not actually a lack of strength, but something about the way your hand's set up is making it difficult to get leverage on that finger. What we want to look at here is sort of the positioning of your palm relative to your fingers. So you can kind of see here that my palm is kind of centered between my thumb and my fourth finger, and that's what we want. What we want to avoid is the palm being farther back, and what that results in is my fourth finger is going to be reaching out really straight because otherwise it can't reach, and that straight finger, it's very hard to get leverage on and actually use any of the muscles in your hand to play that finger. So again, what we want here is thumb is going to be pointing back from the palm just a little bit, nothing crazy like that, but palm is going to be just in front of the thumb. And then most of your fingers are going to be able to curl back in front of themselves. But what we kind of want to avoid is like all the fingers kind of reaching really far in front of the palm. Okay, now if you move your palm forward, and then suddenly you feel like there's no room for my fingers, I can't get the 3 and the 4, there's not enough room, they're hitting the strings. That's very common. A lot of people struggle with that. But what you need to do then is just take your palm and bring it farther away from the strings. So farther outwards. We're kind of coming from this very squished position to just bringing that out. And basically your hand should kind of look as if you could hold an orange or a ball in it. Now that we've got a nice hand position, we've got these nice curved fingers, so we want to make sure that they stay curved while you play. We want to try not to let the knuckles collapse as you put force on the finger. It's going to make it a lot harder to play the string. So as much as possible, we want to keep this kind of nice supported structure in the fingers. And if you have trouble with that, what I recommend to kind of train your fingers what it feels like to maintain that curved shape even when you're applying pressure to them is to just basically take a hard surface and just gently press into it while keeping the fingers curved. And you'll probably notice that it's not that hard to do. We don't want to be pushing really hard, straining really hard. We just want the fingers to learn what it feels like to transfer force through the finger without collapsing. Then we can go back to the harp and you want to try to push on the string the same way that you pushed on the hard surface before. The next thing that's going to help is thinking a little bit about what part of your hand is trying to play the string. So to start with, I just want you to place all 4 of your fingers and play your fourth finger, play your third finger, and just see if you can notice in your hand, your fingers, your arm, can you feel what part of your body feels like it's doing work? Like what muscles feel like they're getting activated when you're trying to play that string? Is it, in this kind of front side of your palm? Is it the back of your hand? Is it within the fingers? Is it in your arm or your elbow or maybe even your shoulder or something like that? We want to identify that because the part of your body that feels like it's doing the work really impacts how easy or difficult it feels to play the string. So ideally, what we want is to feel like the tip of your finger is the part of your finger that's doing the work. Now, literally, there are going to be a lot of muscles that are activating to play that string, but the way that you think about your hands and the way you think about how you're playing will actually affect your body. So rather than trying to really force the fourth finger to play the string or trying to really yank on that string and pull backwards or, trying to really strain kind of within your palm or the back of your hand, we want to think about pushing inward, so kind of pushing through to the opposite side of the harp with the fourth finger. So we're applying a push, and then we just want to let it go, release that into the palm of your hand. So we want to think about strength building up at the tip of the finger here, pushing in and release. Now that we're playing with good hand position and technique, here's a couple of very simple exercises that you can use to improve the strength and flexibility in your third and fourth fingers so they can play with the same speed and clarity as the other two. For the first exercise, we're going to just place fingers 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't really matter what strings. And we're just going to start by playing finger 3. So pushing in on the string, keeping your finger curved, and if you can, see if you can allow fingers 4 and 5 to move in and out with finger 3. So, and then you just do that a few times, leaving plenty of time between notes, and really focus on the different parts of what we just talked about. And you can focus on one different thing each time you play your fingers. So maybe the first time I'm thinking about, where is my palm situated between my fingers and my thumb? Am I keeping my knuckles curved? I'll go again and think, what part of my finger do I feel like is playing the string? I'll go again and think about, am I moving my fourth and fifth finger together with finger 3? And then same idea with finger 4. We're going to place the fourth finger now. We're going to leave the other fingers on the string and just play the fourth finger. Again, we're pushing in, keeping the finger curved, positioning the palm where we want it there, and just repeating that finger several times. And you don't need to spend a long time with it, maybe just a minute or two at the beginning of your practice session. The next exercise that we're going to do, we're going to place all 4 fingers again. We're going to start playing from the thumb and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's really important here is that as you get down closer to the 4th finger, try to keep the positioning of your palm and the rotation of your hand the same. So as we go down, pushing into the strings, trying to avoid any sort of movement in the palm or in the wrist. So we don't want to kind of rotate outwards as we go. That's going to make it way harder to play. We also don't want to like move the hand forward really, because that's not the position that your hand was in when you were practicing it in the last exercise. So we want to keep things consistent and the same as much as possible. Focus on pushing into the string so that the fingers that are now placed after the thumb is done have something to ground them. If you just do these little exercises for a minute or two at the beginning of your practice session each time you play, with just a little bit of time, those fingers are going to start to feel stronger, more confident, and more automatic. You've got this, so don't give up. The 3rd and 4th fingers can also be the ones that often struggle with playing strings cleanly without hitting any extra strings, so watch this video next to learn how to clean them up. And don't forget to sign up for my email newsletter so you can get more free harp tips like this straight to your inbox. Thanks for watching, and happy harping.